Alright, so we're going to be removing the air box today from the CB500X, so I'm just going to show you how you get at it and whatnot. I've already taken the seat off, as you can tell. So first and foremost, to get at the air box is right here. We need to remove our battery first. So first things first, let's remove our negative cable. Always remove the negative cable first. Reason being is if you were to accidentally short or arc anything, the frame is normally grounded, right? If you remove the positive terminal first and you touch the frame, it will arc to the frame. So if you remove the negative terminal first, you avoid that hazard. I always like to store my screws right back on the post just to make sure they stay there. Alright, let's move that out of the way and stow it over here, because that'll make our life easier later. Alright, so it's just a retention strap. Press down, lift up, and you can take the battery right out. You will need to take the retention strap all the way out. It's just a loop ring on both sides. Right. So first we have this junction connector we have to remove first before we can actually get at the air box. So I'm going to just pull that screw that mounts it right here. And set the screw off to the side. Alright, now you are going to have to kind of tuck this down into the frame, otherwise it'll be a pain in the ass later when it comes to removing the air box itself. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, so you're going to need to remove the intake itself because it's a tight spot and it makes it a little hard to get anything in or out of here. Alright, oh, also, just as an FYI, all the hardware here is number 2 Phillips screws. So, remove that. Alright, now, we have 4 screws in total. We have one here, one here, one here, and one down here that you need to remove. The lower 2 actually are captive, the way the housing design which should hold them in place. So let's get those out first. And to the other side. Alright, and now we have our 2 upper screws. Alright, she's free. Alright, now it is a little tight with all this wiring right here, so what you end up having to do is rotate it this way to pull it out. So just kind of grasp it, give it a little bit of a tug, working it around some of this electrical components. Be careful not to damage any of it. There you go. And there it is, there's the air filter. Mine's not too bad a shape. I do ride in the water quite often. So if you ride in the rain or whatnot often enough, you may want to get in there. Let me focus it. and clean it out a little more often. I've got a bit of debris in there. It's not too bad. I'm gonna blow it out with the air compressor. It doesn't look like it needs to be replaced quite yet, but this should be done at about 8,000 miles. And you should inspect it more often if you ride in the rain. Now, because I do ride in the rain, I inspect it about every 2,000 miles just to make sure that the filter pleating is not degrading or anything like that. It still isn't degrading yet, so I'm going to still keep using the current filter we have. It doesn't look clogged. I'm going to knock some of the bigger particles out of it with a little bit of compressed air. Alright, so install, just as easy as the removal. Everything's in reverse. As I mentioned earlier, here are these two bottom screws. The plastic is designed to help hold them in place so that they're more or less captive. So first, place it down, make sure we have our electric connectors out of the way, and rotate the filter into the housing. Right there. I'm going to snug up my two lower screws first. Now do be sure to be careful with these when you're tightening them in. They are going into a plastic housing, so you do not want to torque them hard. If you do, you can cause damage to the actual housing. So just good and snug. That's all she really needs. Back corner one's kind of a pain. She's snug enough. Back to the intake. Make sure you line her up first. Started with my stubby. Surprisingly, this is actually more compact than the stubby. Alright, let's fish our connection out of there again. Line it back up. Let's get our hardware. Screw back in place. And last and least, you'll put your battery clip back in first. It makes it a lot easier to do that before you put the battery in. It's a little bit of a tight space to get that lower hook on. Once you have that in, hook it back up and you're all good to go. Alright my friends, that is it. That is how you remove the airbox off the CB500X. Until next time.